Yeah. So, how you doing, man?
Better than I deserve.
I hear that. Had a lot of stuff go down this past week or past couple of weeks. From vaccines to real fun stuff with Rally. It's been a lot of stuff popping off at Rally out here.
Oh, Rally's great.
Man.
Rally is great stuff. For you guys who've not got in yet, depending on when this video comes out, there's a slowdown in the crypto market, so might be a nice time to just look at it. That's all we're saying. We're not giving you financial advice. We're just giving you some educational material. So look at those prices. Might be a good time to get in.
Jump in there and take a look. Yeah. So, in recent news, we have world-known artist Nicki Minaj. She skipped out on the Met Gala after refusing to get vaccinated. And there are claims that she delivered some misinformation to millions of her followers. Now, some of those claims include the fact that her cousin's friend got swollen cojones after he took the vaccine. All right. There's also some rumors out there that's going around and saying that wasn't the situation. That wasn't COVID. The vaccine wasn't the thing to blame for the cojones. There was unfaithfulness, but we don't know. We're just here to talk about it. All right. So I want to get your thoughts on this entire situation because, man, folks have been coming after Nicki. Nicki has been clapping back. What do you think about this entire situation?
We talked before about if you are an artist and you have like any sort of controversial opinion, should you even share it with the audience? And we've shown cases where people did have an opinion that was popular on one side versus another side, and it actually worked out for both of them because you could go look on their social medias and see like enough people backing their opinion. So in terms of marketing wise, we can't say that she said anything wrong because this is a personal experience that would be happening to her cousin's friend, right? Mm-hmm. So I can't say. One of the things that people have a problem with who maybe would have vaccine hesitancy, I'm not going to call them like anti-vaxxers or whatever. People who have vaccine hesitancy would be that if something did happen to somebody and that was the only difference, like let's say before, her cousin's friend, had everything was going fine. And then like this was the only difference that he had.
Yeah.
And he's saying, hey, I got this, and then this happened. The big problem people on the other side have is that, like, they're saying, no, you didn't. Like, that didn't happen to you. And you're just like, wait, like, this happened to me. Right. How are you telling me that this didn't happen to me?
Right.
So essentially, I honestly think on this note that if people could just ask genuine questions and get genuine answers, I really think you'd have another like 10% of people, or maybe even higher than that, who would be vaccinated. I think it's like, what is it, 60%?
Yeah.
Or something like that, 65%, something in the U.S. who have at least gotten one shot. I really think you'd have another 10% if it was just like straight up, hey, we don't know everything that happened. We do know that for this age group, like, you are far less likely to get hospitalized. You're far less likely to die. We have good data on that. Like, okay, great. But if something did happen that was not favorable to that data set, as long as you're open with people, I think that you will get a bigger percentage versus just saying anybody who says any of these things is lying because we did not see that in our test data.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you have a whole lot bigger data sample now than your test data.
Yeah.
Like something may happen to somebody.
Yeah.
But that's just to say, because like the headlines you read will just assert that this is misinformation. You have no idea if it's misinformation or not. You're just using that as a buzzword.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the other side of this would be that Nicki Minaj was just saying, and I think if you like look through the tweets or whatnot, she didn't say that people shouldn't get vaccinated. I think most people aren't saying that you shouldn't get vaccinated.
Right.
Some are just saying like
cautious.
hey, I just have some questions, and anytime I ask a question, like this is the reaction I get. Like this, if you guys want me to be convinced, then these should not be the reactions to my questions.
Right.
So let's just read it directly. So we don't put any words in her mouth. They want you to get vaccinated for the Met. This is Nicki Minaj speaking in a tweet. They want you to get vaccinated for the Met. If I get vaccinated, it won't be for the Met. It'll be once I feel I've done enough research. I'm working on that now. In the meantime, my loves, be safe. Wear the mask with 2 strings to grip your head and face, not that loose one. Prayer hand, heart emoji. To be honest, like, there's really, like, even if you're a person that, like, would disagree with wearing masks, like, there's nothing in that statement that you could see, whether you agreed or disagreed with, like, everything. She's just saying,
Right.
hey, I don't feel like I've done enough research.
Right.
Okay, fine. Like, was anybody's reaction to that like a factual reaction, or was it just purely emotional? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said this. You're evil for saying this. That's going to make somebody more hesitant.
100%.
If you can't ever ask a question.
100%.
We right now do not live in authoritarian society, and some of us are trying to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right.
So you need to be able to ask questions of your government. And I know maybe we have other people watching from other spaces. But in the United States of America right now, we have the freedom to ask questions of the government. It's not shut up and you do this, or you get dragged in the street. Like in Afghanistan, like the musician we talked about, was this a week ago, who gets dragged in the street and shot in the head. While that may seem drastic, like, oh, that would never happen here. Well, we're trying to ensure that never happens here.
Right.
So, and I don't think that you getting vaccinated is equivalent to that, just for people who are thinking emotionally right now. That's not the comparison I'm making. I am saying that when you see something that could even possibly be on the horizon, you stop it before it ever even gets inches closer.
Facts.
Therefore, with this, I don't see anything crazy wrong with what she said. Maybe something did happen to the friend that caused this. This is just what she knew.
Yeah.
Like if, I don't know, my sister or my brother or somebody told me, hey, I had this and then this happened. And I just say, hey, I have hesitancy because this happened to my brother, or this happened to my brother's friend. That's very valid.
Yeah.
And then people who say, I wanted to get the vaccine very quickly because I had this condition or that condition. Yeah. That's very valid.
100%.
I think that you should
100%.
go do that. I think that statistics will show people in certain categories should be rushing to go get it.
I think
go ahead.
What increases the hesitation of people even more to get vaccinated, I think, is a lot of the impatience coming from the vaccinated or the higher ups and the powers that be in the way that they deliver the message to certain people. Like, our patience is running thin. You need to get the vax. Or the fact that you're not vaccinated, X, Y, and Z will happen. What is wrong with you? You're dumb. Like, it's almost like a very divisive tone and delivery that I'm hearing coming from one side to the other. And I don't know, man. Kind of like you said, if it's not that people don't want to get it, people just want to kind of go at their own pace. And if it was a little bit more persuasive, I think that, a lot more people would be open to getting it. And I think, persuasive isn't deception. I think that it is what it is. We're always being persuaded to do something, and we're always trying to persuade people to do something, whether we know it or not. It's just whether or not you're good at it. Right now, I just think that the communication is just off in a lot of ways. And this is one of the small examples of that.
Marketing wise, fear is typically used. When we talk about this, we talk about looking at the copy, the headline copy for news networks. A lot of the times it's just fear based. So a good headline is not 25-year-old gets COVID and is asymptomatic. Nobody cares about that headline. Like that doesn't bring viewers.
Yeah.
Because like this is supposed to be hyped up or something.
Right.
A good one would be, the 35-year-old school teacher gets COVID and hospitalized the day after they got it. Something like that. Some case that is not the norm.
Right.
Would be far better for headlines. So, but like, yes, those cases do happen sometimes. Nobody's saying that they don't.
Right.
But for marketing purposes, fear is what they are used to pushing on people. Because, I mean, for most people, they think that you can be controlled by the fear. What we're saying is when you have legitimate data, just like why are all these emotions coming into play versus just saying like a clear cut,
That's right.
Hey, here's exactly what we found. If you find an outlier, I think you will have better success just saying here is an outlier that has happened. Versus if I try to search for any outlier, nothing comes up.
Right.
Like something should come up for an outlier. Even if it's rare, okay, great. I saw that this was 0.001% of things that happened.
Yeah.
Now I trust you more in my mind. I trust you more because like you've shown me, all right, this did happen. It's very, very rare. Not to say that Nicki Minaj's cousin's friend actually happened to him.
Yeah.
But if something did happen, this is very, very rare. A lot of people have gotten vaccines before of XYZ other vaccines. Here's why we think this mRNA one is superior and all that stuff. And you can go look at a lot of the ingredients for the vaccines that come out and just read them and look through what each one does. Like you can go do that. Most people don't know that you can go do that. So having somebody present on TV and you guys publish like marketing that, saying like, hey, here's somebody who's just going to go through everything.
Yeah.
Somebody who is not flip-flopping on anything else or answers like, here's just what it is. I personally think that you'd have another 10 to 12% of people.
Yeah, 100%. And when there's dishonesty about the vaccine, obviously it's going to create suspicion, right? And, rightfully so, it's going to cause the general public to indict you on some type of conspiracy theory. This is the mark of the beast. This is the one world order. You know what I'm saying? When people, I don't know if you saw that in Australia, some lady used that on the news. She used that phrase, like
one world.
Yes.
Yeah, they've been using that.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I don't think it's the mark of the beast. I would say that I can see how the mark of the beast would happen now, because even if it was something that like legitimately had, I don't know, like 666 as like some sort of number in the code or something.
Yeah.
I actually think that a good percent of people would still take it.
Like right now.
Yes. But no, I don't think the COVID vaccine is the mark of the beast.
Not at all. But let me ask you this though. In light of that, why do you think that there's such a rush-driven type of persuasion that's attached to this whole vaccine thing? Like, why do you think people aren't being honest about the facts? Like, why? Without us trying to be suspicious and conspiracy theory driven, like what? Unless that's where you would land at. Like, why do you think, from a practical standpoint, that this is the rollout is the way that it is at this point? The fear-driven tactics.
That's just what they're used to. Okay. It's not anything new with with fear.
Okay.
Like they do it with politics and medicine and anything else. It's just what they know to do.
I got you.
That's why I think it is how it is. So
Yeah.
whenever like you catch somebody in a lie, like let's go back to Clinton, right? Being caught in the lie with Monica Lewinsky. The best thing to do for him is just say, "Hey, nation, I lied." Right? That was honestly the best thing. The best thing for him to do is to just not do it in the first place, right? But the best thing after that was, yes, I did lie about this.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Like we got that out the way.
Yeah.
You're now more trusted in this.
Uh-huh.
Nowadays, it's like the thing with like Fauci, and then like people couldn't upload one of his first videos about like the whole mask thing, and then people got on this whole like mask versus no mask and like all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I think like the censoring thing and fear based and like you will do what we tell you to do. Like, look, if this was smallpox, I get it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
But statistically speaking, this ain't smallpox.
Right.
It is something to be taken very seriously. But is for a percentage of people, if they're asking good questions, such as, hey, if natural immunity lasts for X amount of months and I had a positive COVID test and you're asking for these cards to come into your business in New York City, then why don't I have a card that says I had a positive test, therefore I have this immunity for at least 3 months that we know.
That's right.
So why isn't this included in those?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
It is.
For somebody.
Facts.
Especially if you have better statistics saying that you're more protected from the natural immunity versus just the vaccine immunity.
Facts.
So if people can't just honestly ask that question, then you start to look fishy.
Yeah. Facts.
Or if you do have a legitimate answer, just tell it on TV. Like,
Yeah.
just spend your time talking on TV about that, unless you think everybody's stupid and they can't ask that question.
Right.
If you think everybody's stupid, then keep pushing the fear stuff.
Right.
If you don't, then if you have a good answer for that, have a debate between maybe a scientist who is viewing things one way and then one on TV is viewing things another way, and they can have an open discussion versus thinking that everybody is too much of a child that they can't like look at this and make a good decision.
Yeah.
Like, again, if it's like a smallpox thing where it's literally like 40% of people who get this, you're dying.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I'm with you. Like, if kids were dying of this thing left and right, like, look, man, I'd be in the house.
Right.
And my kids would not be going out. And, like, I get it. But people have to be able to ask questions.
Yeah.
You have to be able to. Without, like, putting a knife to your throat.
That's right.
For asking a question.
Facts.
So if you have great data on this, or you have some scientific article, not something from CNN or Fox News, feel free to throw that in the comment section.
Yeah.
And look, I'll take a look. I have been looking at this stuff since last August, pretty regularly, like looking at everything. So, yeah. Throw it our way. We'll take a look.
Yes, indeed. Good conversation, man.